Have you ever wondered why some older individuals who choose solitude seem to carry a special kind of glow? Why does their presence feel so calm, so grounded, and almost magnetic, even without saying a word? What hidden strengths do they quietly nurture when the world isn't watching? Today, we're going to uncover the 9 remarkable qualities that make these individuals not just wise but deeply inspiring. If you're someone who treasures your quiet moments, or if you're simply curious about the unseen gifts of solitude, you're in the right place. And if you find value in reflections like these, I invite you to subscribe and be part of a community that cherishes wisdom, depth, and the beauty of growing older with grace. As we journey through life, many of us come to appreciate the quiet moments, the times when we can simply be with ourselves. But for some, solitude isn't just a temporary retreat, it's a way of life, a source of strength, wisdom, and deep fulfillment. Let's uncover the extraordinary qualities that make these individuals shine from within. Number 1, profound self-awareness. Older individuals who embrace solitude often carry within them a profound self-awareness, a quiet, unwavering knowledge of who they truly are. This isn't something they stumbled upon overnight. It's the fruit of countless seasons of reflection, of facing themselves in moments of joy, in moments of sorrow, and in the long stretches of ordinary days that most people overlook. They have walked through memories, regrets, and victories alike, sifting through their experiences with patience and honesty. They know their strengths, not because someone told them, but because they've seen those strengths tested by life. They know their weaknesses, not with shame, but with acceptance, understanding that imperfection is simply part of being human. I once met Margaret, a retired teacher in her 70s. At a small book club gathering, she told me how, after retiring, she dedicated her mornings to sitting quietly by her window, journaling with nothing but a cup of tea and the soft morning light. Through these solitary rituals, she discovered layers of her soul she had never dared to explore when life was busier. She wrote letters to her younger self, forgave old hurts, and charted dreams that had lain dormant for decades. What struck me most about Margaret wasn't just her wisdom. It was the serene confidence she carried. She didn't need anyone's applause or approval. Her peace came from within, rooted deeply like an ancient oak that no storm could shake. When you sat beside her, you felt it too, a stillness that made the noise of the world seem far away. This profound self-awareness is what makes older individuals who cherish solitude so magnetic. It's not about ego or self-importance. It's about authenticity, the rare kind that can only be born when a person is willing to sit quietly with themselves and truly listen. They have become their cafe harbor, their trusted friend, and because they know who they are, they move through life with a calm, quiet power that others can feel even before a word is spoken. Number 2, unwavering independence. Another extraordinary trait found in older individuals who embrace solitude is their unwavering independence. Over the years, life has taught them that while companionship is beautiful, their ability to stand firmly on their own 2 feet is irreplaceable. They have weathered storms alone, made difficult decisions without a guiding hand, and built lives rooted in their strength and resilience. This independence isn't born out of stubbornness or pride. It's a quiet acknowledgement that relying on oneself is a profound act of self-love and survival. They have learned to trust their instincts, to solve problems without waiting for rescue, and to find fulfillment without constant validation from others. I think of John, a neighbor of mine in his late 60s, whose life is a living testament to the beauty of solitude and self-reliance. After losing his wife unexpectedly, many feared he would wither away in loneliness, but John surprised everyone. He took up new hobbies, restored his home with his own hands, and even planned solo travel adventures to places he and his wife had once dreamed of visiting together. When I asked him once if he ever felt afraid traveling alone, he smiled, a warm, steady smile, and said, "The only thing scarier than being alone is forgetting that I'm capable." His stories of wandering through unfamiliar cities, trying new foods, and finding hidden treasures off the beaten path were more than just adventures. They were celebrations of the human spirit's capacity to adapt, to heal, and to thrive even when life demands a new beginning. Older individuals like John remind us that independence is not about rejecting others. It's about honoring our journey. It's about knowing that while connections enrich us, our foundation must always be built within ourselves. Their unwavering independence becomes a quiet beacon, inspiring others not to fear solitude, but to embrace it as an opportunity to rediscover their own power. Number 3, a creative spirit. Solitude, for many older individuals, is not an empty space to be filled. It is a canvas waiting for color, a page longing for stories, a garden yearning to bloom. When life slows down and the noise of the outside world fades, creativity often rushes in to take its place. And it is within this sacred stillness that a creative spirit awakens and flourishes. Many who enjoy their own company find themselves drawn to painting, writing, crafting, gardening, or music, not necessarily for recognition, but simply for the pure joy of creation. They understand that creativity is not reserved for the young or the famous. It is a lifelong companion, one that grows richer with age, deeper with experience. I remember visiting Mary, an 80-year-old artist whose home felt like stepping into a living, breathing dream. Every wall was adorned with paintings, some bold and vibrant, others soft and contemplative, all created in the quiet moments she carved out for herself. She once told me, "The best pieces come when I'm alone, when I let my heart speak without fear of being misunderstood." It wasn't about perfection, it was about expression, about allowing her soul to spill onto the canvas in colors and shapes that words could never fully capture. She painted landscapes she had never visited, emotions she had long since made peace with, dreams she still nurtured deep within. And it wasn't just the art on the walls. It was in the way she arranged her garden, the handwritten poems tucked into books, the homemade gifts she crafted for friends. Creativity, for her, was a way of breathing. It was how she stayed connected to the pulse of life itself. Older individuals who embrace solitude often remind us that creativity doesn't diminish with time. It deepens. It becomes more authentic, more fearless. Their creative spirit is not about proving anything to the world. It's about honoring the parts of themselves that still long to explore, to imagine, to leave a quiet mark of beauty wherever they go. Number 4, a rich inner life. Those who embrace solitude often build for themselves a rich, intricate inner world, a sanctuary that is both vast and vivid, hidden from the casual observer, but deeply alive within. While the world races on, they walk a slower, more thoughtful path, one lined with books, memories, reflections, and dreams that have been tended like a secret garden. They engage in a deep thinking, not just about themselves, but about life, humanity, and the world at large. Their thoughts are not hurried or surface level. They are layered, considered, and full of nuance. And because they are unafraid of silence, they have learned to listen, truly listen, to the small voices within and to the quiet wisdom that often gets drowned out in the noise of daily life. Clara, a former librarian now, 85, embodies this beautifully. Her home is filled with books, each one lovingly worn, as if the words had seeped into the walls themselves. When I visit her, it feels less like a conversation and more like entering another universe. She connects literature with life so seamlessly, weaving lessons from ancient philosophy with observations about modern times. One afternoon, as we sat by her window with a pot of chamomile tea, she told me, "Books are not just stories, they are mirrors. Sometimes they show us what we fear, sometimes they reveal who we might become." Listening to her was like tracing the threads of countless lifetimes, threads she had quietly gathered through decades of thought, solitude, and reflection. Older individuals who cultivate a rich inner life offer a rare gift to the world, the ability to see beyond the obvious, to appreciate subtleties, and to approach life with a depth that many never touch. Their solitude is not loneliness. It is an invitation to a richer, deeper conversation with existence itself. Their presence reminds us that true wealth is not measured in possessions, but in the treasures of the mind and the soul, treasures carefully collected during the quiet hours when no one is watching. And if you find yourself valuing these quiet treasures too, if you believe, as I do, that depth and reflection are gifts worth celebrating, I warmly invite you to subscribe. Together, we are creating a space where the richness of thought and heart is cherished and shared. Number 5, emotional resilience. Another extraordinary quality of older individuals who embrace solitude is their emotional resilience. The quiet, steady strength that allows them to weather the storms of life without losing themselves in the process. Over time, they have learned that emotions, like the tides, rise and fall, and instead of fighting the waves, they have become skilled at standing firm, allowing the water to move around them without being swept away. They have faced loss, disappointment, loneliness, and change, not once or twice, but many times. And through these experiences, they have built a kind of inner architecture, a place within that remains intact no matter how fiercely the winds of life may blow. I think often of Robert, a 75-year-old war veteran whose life could easily have been defined by sorrow. After losing his wife, the love of his life, many assumed he would withdraw completely, and for a while, he did retreat into himself. But rather than allowing grief to hollow him out, Robert chose to walk alongside it. He spent long hours hiking in the mountains, letting the rhythm of his footsteps carry his pain, and letting the vastness of nature remind him that even loss is part of a larger, mysterious dance of life. When he speaks of his wife now, it is with tenderness, not bitterness. His face softens, his voice steadies, and there is a deep peace in his words. He found a way to honor his sadness without becoming imprisoned by it. This is the mark of true emotional resilience, not the absence of pain, but the ability to carry it with grace, to allow it to carve deeper wells of compassion within the soul. Older individuals like Robert show us that resilience is not about becoming harder or colder. It's about becoming wiser, softer, and more open-hearted with every hardship faced. Their strength is not loud. It does not demand attention. It exists quietly, like the roots of an ancient tree, unseen but unshakable, holding steady through every storm, every season, and every unexpected turn of life. Number 6, gratitude and contentment. One of the most luminous qualities of older individuals who enjoy solitude is their profound sense of gratitude and contentment. In a world that constantly pushes for more achievement, more possessions, more approval, these individuals find deep joy in the simple, often overlooked blessings that each day quietly offers. They understand that happiness isn't something to be chased, it's something to be recognized. It's woven into the golden light of a sunrise, the aroma of fresh coffee, the gentle sway of trees in the wind, the comforting creak of an old chair that has faithfully held the weight of countless memories. While others race toward distant goals, they savor the miracle of ordinary moments, fully present for each fleeting beauty. I will never forget a conversation with Elena, a retired nurse in her late 70s, who taught me more about gratitude in one afternoon than I had learned in years. Every morning, without fail, she laces up her sneakers and heads out for a walk just as the world is beginning to stir. She listens to the birds greeting the dawn, watches the sky shift from deep blue to soft gold, and breathes in the crisp, hopeful air of a new day. When I asked her once why she maintained this ritual even on cold, rainy mornings, she smiled and said, "Because every day I'm given another chance to be part of it all, to witness, to feel, to give thanks." Her words stayed with me. They reminded me that contentment doesn't arrive when everything is perfect. It blooms when we learn to see the perfection already embedded in the imperfect world around us. Older individuals like Elena show us that gratitude isn't reserved for grand achievements or rare occasions. It's found in the quiet, repeated gestures of noticing, the warmth of a hand, the sweetness of a memory, the miracle of simply being alive. Their contentment radiates outward, gently reminding everyone around them that true richness lies not in accumulating more, but in cherishing more deeply. And in their presence, we, too, are invited to slow down, breathe, and remember the preciousness of it all. Number 7, empathy and compassion. Among the most beautiful qualities nurtured in solitude is a deep wellspring of empathy and compassion. Older individuals who have spent time alone have had the space to walk through their own emotions without distraction. They have faced sadness, disappointment, hope, and healing in the quiet recesses of their hearts. And this long, private pilgrimage through the human experience has given them a profound understanding of others. Because they have sat with their pain, they know how to sit with someone else's. Because they have tended to their wounds, they know how to recognize the invisible ones carried by those around them. Their compassion is not performative. It does not shout or demand recognition. It moves quietly, steadily, reaching out with a touch, a listening ear, a presence that says, "I see you. I understand." I am reminded of Helen, an 82-year-old retired social worker whose life is a living testament to the quiet power of empathy. Though she cherishes her solitude, Helen spends her afternoons volunteering at a local shelter, offering not just meals or blankets, but something far rarer, her undivided attention. She listens as people tell their stories, stories heavy with loss, betrayal, hardship, and she listens without judgment, without rushing to fix or advise them. When I once asked her how she managed to carry the weight of so many sorrowful stories, she answered simply, "Because I know what it's like to need someone to just be there." Helen taught me that empathy isn't about solving, it's about accompanying. It's about stepping into the space between two souls and saying, "You don't have to carry this alone." Older individuals who value solitude often embody this kind of compassion naturally. Their time alone has deepened their sensitivity to the unspoken struggles of others. And when they offer their kindness, it comes from a well so deep, so pure, that it nourishes everyone fortunate enough to be near them. In their quiet, gentle way, they remind us that love doesn't always need grand gestures. Sometimes it needs only presence, understanding, and the simple, healing act of listening with the heart wide open. Number 8, strong personal boundaries. One of the quiet but powerful strengths of older individuals who cherish solitude is their firm, yet graceful ability to set personal boundaries. Through the ebb and flow of life, they have learned a truth that many struggle with for decades, that protecting one's peace is not selfish, it is necessary. They understand that their time, their energy, and their emotional well-being are precious resources, not to be given away carelessly. And so, with a calm confidence, they have learned to say no when they must, to walk away when it is wise, and to preserve their inner sanctuary even in a world that often demands more than it gives. I often think of my Aunt Beatrice, now 73, who embodies this wisdom with such elegance. She has mastered the art of declining invitations that don't serve her spirit, of stepping back from conversations that drain rather than nourish, and of honoring her need for solitude without apology. I once asked her if she ever felt guilty for turning down requests from friends or family. She smiled gently and said, "You can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of myself is how I stay able to care for others." Her words stayed with me. They revealed a simple but profound truth, that setting boundaries isn't about shutting people out. It's about making sure that when we show up, we can do so wholeheartedly, without resentment, without exhaustion. Older individuals who value their own space teach us that boundaries are not walls. They are doors we choose when and how to open. They know how to balance generosity with self-respect, connection with autonomy. Their example reminds us that it is possible to live generously without giving away parts of ourselves we cannot afford to lose. And in a world that so often pulls us in 1,000 directions, their steady, centered presence is like a lighthouse, guiding us back to the truth that our peace is ours to protect. Number 9, a heightened appreciation for relationships. Ironically, those who enjoy solitude often treasure their relationships even more deeply. My Uncle David, who relishes his quiet evenings, also cherishes his friendships. When he connects with others, he does so with full presence and gratitude, making every moment richer and more meaningful. It's a beautiful reminder that solitude isn't about isolation. It's about returning to others from a place of fullness. Number 10, deep trust in life's natural flow. Beyond all their other remarkable traits, many older individuals who find joy in solitude have cultivated one final, profound quality: a deep trust in life's natural flow. They have learned to work, often through seasons of both struggle and wonder, that life has its own rhythm, one that cannot always be controlled, predicted, or forced. They no longer fight the tides of change with fear or resistance. Instead, they have come to embrace change as a companion on the journey, understanding that every ending carries within it the seed of a new beginning, and every hardship hides within it an unseen gift. I think often of Mr. Harris, an 81-year-old former professor who, after losing his health, his career, and even his longtime home, found a new life in a tiny seaside town. When I asked him once if he regretted how much he had lost, he chuckled softly and said, "I haven't lost anything essential. The essentials are portable: kindness, curiosity, wonder. They come with me wherever I go." In those words, I heard not bitterness, but a deep, abiding trust, a trust that life, in its mysterious unfolding, ultimately brings us exactly what we need, even when we don't understand it in the moment. Older individuals like Mr. Harris show us that peace doesn't come from controlling every outcome. It comes from trusting the journey, from letting go, from breathing deeply, from understanding that even when life carries us into unknown waters, we have everything we need inside us to float, to sail, and eventually, to find new shores. Their deep trust in life's natural flow is a final, shimmering thread that weaves together all the other qualities we've explored. A quiet, powerful faith that everything, even solitude itself, has its sacred place in the great, unfolding story of being alive. As we come to the end of this journey together, I invite you to pause. Just for a moment, close your eyes if you like, and think of the last time you truly sat with yourself, in stillness, in honesty, in peace. That quiet space within you, it's not empty. It's full of life, full of wisdom, full of all the beautiful qualities we spoke about today. To those who cherish their solitude, you are not isolated, you are illuminated. Your self-awareness, your resilience, your creativity, your deep wells of empathy, they are not accidents. They are the hard-earned treasures of a life lived with presence and courage. And if you're still learning to be comfortable in your own company, know this: solitude is not a void to fear. It is a homecoming to yourself, a place where the soul can finally breathe freely, without mass, without expectations, a place where true strength is born quietly, patiently, without applause. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If you found yourself nodding along, if these words stirred something quiet and true inside your heart, I invite you to subscribe. Together, we are building a space where wisdom, kindness, and authenticity are celebrated, not shouted, but honored in the way that the best things in life are honored, gently, deeply, and with great care. Until next time, may you find peace in your presence. May you trust the rhythm of your journey, and may you always remember, the most beautiful gardens are often the ones that grow quietly, far from the noise of the crowd.